Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to share a flip through of my latest completed junk journal. And this journal was really kindly made and sent to me by one of my YouTube followers. We also know each other on Instagram, and she's called Willemijn. I really hope I've pronounced your name correctly. So it's got some beautiful papers in there, and of course I've added lots of my own pieces as well. So I've got the little note in here sent to me by Willemijn, which I've used some washi tape to put in the front. And this lasted me from April this year until early on in June. You see it's got these gorgeous papers. So then I've just added some writing spots from other pieces of paper that I had. And one of the things I tend to do is if I've got some paint in my palette, so I was painting some leaves, I think it was my leaves challenge over on Patreon back in April. I also then just added some of that for extra decoration in here. And some of these ledger papers, these were also printables from Patreon. So anything I've got kind of hanging around my desk tends to make it into my junk journal. And I think that really then helps to kind of summarise what's going on in my life at that time. I also use it as a place to add lots of stickers, postage stamps, and as well as using paper for writing spots, here I've just put some of that same watercolour paint on the background, and it adds a little bit of interest, and it's just lovely to have lots of different places to write. And these, I think this card I created when I did one of my YouTube videos, which was decorating different tags and journaling cards. And so I then used those in my junk journal again to create writing spots, and it means you can still see some of that really lovely paper underneath as well. And again here I would have had some paint left in my palette from something I was working on, so just added some painted squares around the edges. And I try and get a bit creative with any space that's left, so I wanted to keep that map still visible. So then just added my writing around the outside. And lots of the washi tapes and decorations all came from London Gifties. Well, this is where I was writing. This tends to be where I let out things that perhaps are frustrating or worrying me. And this was in the run-up to my book launch, where I was getting really panicky, where the books hadn't arrived with me yet, and I'd taken quite a lot of pre-orders, and then the books hadn't released over on Amazon when they should have done on the date, because they had some problems at their end with the stock actually coming, with the stock being registered as in. So this is where I've just kind of vented about all of those things. I also add in, if I find little quotes that I like, and I really liked this one, I put those in my junk journal as well. And here is one of the pockets I've created, and I've just put in lots of different tags with all of my writing on in here. It's one of the things I love about junk journals, is you can just get so creative and find all of these little spaces to add your writing but still be able to see all those gorgeous backgrounds. So again, more tags added here, all from that same video. Okay, here I was writing about how nervous I was. I had a test interview with Crafters TV because I was on their show a couple of days later. So I always write down the things that I'm nervous about, that are on my mind. And that just helps to make me kind of feel a bit better that I've got it out of my system. And this was a London Gifties postcard, which I've just used washi tape on both sides to secure it in and give me some more writing space. And this was from a Patreon printables, some of the journaling cards, so I used lots of those in here as well. And I really like these junk journals with all the different size pieces of paper. I think it just looks so interesting when you're flipping through it. It's also always a perfect space, I think, to add any last stickers from a sheet that you've got, or the ends of washi tape that aren't going to be quite enough to do a whole spread with. They're perfect for just putting in here. I also have put thank you cards, anything interesting that comes in the post, I'll always pop those in here. So again, lots of tags. That's where I wrote about having my first vaccine and how I was feeling about that. And again, lots of little tags just to kind of break up the space, create a little bit more room for me to be able to write in. And I tend to do lots of writing in all of my journals. I'm very much sort of focused on getting all of the thoughts out of my head. And again, some paint here that I would have had left in my palette and then just added a few lines on top. And I really think that this is probably one of my favourite ways to journal. I write in it nearly every evening. There's usually something on my mind that I want to get out. And I've got my daily journal, which I share sometimes. In fact, I've just finished that, so I'll be filming a flip through soon. That tends to usually be a bit more of a factual kind of writing of what's happened that day, whereas this tends to be a lot more about how I'm feeling about things and what I'm thinking. So it's just nice for me to have those kind of two different outlets. That's me collecting my daughter from uni and how excited I was about that. And if I've got bits of paper that are a bit large, then I just fold them over so I've got plenty of space for all my writing. I think we're nearly at the end. Little bits of packaging I like to put in here as well. So that then takes me to the end of that journal. I really hope you've enjoyed seeing how I use my junk journal. I've done a few blog posts about it in the past and people have said they've loved the look of junk journals but not really got their head around how they could use them to write in and document things. So I really hope that helps to give you some ideas that you might be able to use in your own junk journals. So thank you ever so much for watching. As always, a huge thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. I really hope you're doing well and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.